begins its 7th FTA. Prime Minister Modi holds telephonic talks with New Zealand Prime Minister on trade, innovation, defence, aim to double bilateral trade. Trade between the two countries to double in the next 5 years. Commerce and Industry Minister Piyush Goyal said that India is at an advanced stage of negotiations now with the United States over bilateral trade agreement. US Embassy expands online presence, reviews to all H-1B and H-4 visa applicants globally, aiming to curb program abuse while allowing companies to hire top foreign talent. Speaking at a Christmas celebration event in Mahabalipuram, TVK chief Vijay in Tamil Nadu said that his party's ideology is rooted in secular social justice, asserting that there would be 100% no compromise when it comes to communal harmony. An RSS worker was arrested after a Christmas carol group comprising of children were allegedly attacked while visiting houses in Palakkad district of Kerala. Samantha Ruth Prabhu, yet another actor who seemed to have been mobbed by so-called fans in Hyderabad, and she clearly looked uncomfortable. And at this point, this comes right after the Nidhi Agarwal case, with circulating videos now showing how even Samantha was not spared. Senior Russian general has died. In fact, he was killed in a bomb that was planted right under his car that goes off in southern Moscow. Who's done it, the person behind it, yet to be established. Japan took the final step to allow world's largest nuclear power plant to resume operations with a regional vote. A watershed moment indeed for the country's return to nuclear energy nearly 15 years after the Fukushima disaster. Gulmarg transforms into breathtaking winter paradise as fresh snow blankets the hills, drawing tourists eager for skiing and snowy adventures. All right, let's start with our top story, and a shocking one that's come to light here of an IPS officer who's been pushed to the brink of suicide. Even an IPS officer could not escape cyber criminals. Former IPS officer Amar Singh Chahal allegedly shot himself in Patiala after being cheated of nearly 8.1 crores in cyber fraud. He's currently hospitalized in critical condition. Police say a handwritten note was recovered from the spot. In fact, that's the note there that they found. In it, Chahal has claimed that he was systematically conned by cyber criminals posing as professional wealth managers, that they were promising to manage his wealth, to invest, reinvest and give him good returns. And after much of that conversation, he was conned of nearly 8 crores. According to the note, the fraudsters contacted him through WhatsApp and Telegram groups, calling themselves F777 DBS Wealth Equity Research Group. They falsely claimed links with the DBS Bank and its top management. The group promised unusually high returns through stock trading, IPO investments, and so-called advance funds. To gain trust, they showed Chahal fake online dashboards displaying huge profits. Once he was convinced, he was pushed to invest larger sums of money, and often, when he tried to withdraw the money, the scamsters demanded more service charges, taxes and processing fees, running into crores of rupees. He got sucked into it and finally realized that he was conned of 8 crores. Despite making all the payments through bank transfers, not a single rupee was refunded. That's his grouse, that all that money was paid through banks, but yet he wasn't able to retrieve his money once he found out that he was conned. In the note addressed to the Punjab DGP, Gaurav Yadav, Chahal says the scam was highly organized, involving multiple bank accounts and people, likely associated with banks. He's requested a special investigative team now or a central agency probe to track the money trail while he battles for his life at a hospital. The former officer has also written about severe financial losses and emotional distress, now apologizing to his family and colleagues. He's, in fact, wanting responsibility to be pinned. Who are these fraudsters? He wants and requests for them to be arrested with immediate effect. Investigations now are underway into both the shooting incident and the cyber fraud. Police are examining the note, bank records and digital evidence as well to see how far the scam has run, how many more people may have been conned. But pushing an IPS officer to the brink of suicide. That's, that's really the nail on the coffin. We're looking at cybercrime cases growing in might in India. Such cases are dime a dozen, but an IPS officer could not tell the difference. That's the sad part, a tragic one here indeed. Let me bring in Kanishk Gaur, founder, India Future Foundation cybersecurity expert, joining us. IPS Gurinder Singh Dhillon, former ADGP Law and Order. Let me bring in IPS Gurinder Singh Dhillon. Sir, sad to hear about Amar Singh Chahal, former IPS officer. He is currently battling for his life. Thankfully, he survived. But imagine even a police officer not escaping cyber criminals. It's shocking. Give us the sentiment that the fraternity at this point is going through.
Good evening, Nabila, and good evening to News 9 viewers. Yes, it is very sad, very damaging incident. And incidentally, we are colleagues. We are neighbors. Our houses are just 500 meters apart in Patiala. And when I came to know about this incident, I immediately rushed to hospital where he was admitted. And thankfully, after the shot in the chest, he was immediately shifted to hospital, which is just nearby. In 2-3 minutes, he was in the hospital. They were prepared and they intervened. And lastly, about 1 hour back, surgery has been conducted, and he is stable. And doctors have assured us that surgery was successful. They will keep him under observation for another 12 years. And as colleagues, as friends, brothers, it is satisfying. I met the family, Mrs. Chahal, his son. He has only one son, his daughter-in-law. So it was quite an emotional scene. But in the evening, there is a satisfaction that he's safe. But at the same time, it is very, very damaging that such a fraud, cybercrime, financial chaos, a retired IPS officer who himself served in field, who have dealt all such cases in his life, he is caught in such a compelling circumstances that ultimately, after writing a detailed note, he attempted a suicide. Thankfully, he is secure, he is safe for the time being, and we pray that it was his birthday also today, so it is like a second life. Such a strange event. We know each other for almost 3 decades.
That's very unfortunate. He's survived. He's thankfully survived this attack. That's what we are thankful for. But imagine the distress and the depression that he's gone into after losing 8 crores. That may have been all his life savings, sir.
Yes, not only life saving. He was caught in such a whirlpool of this trap that he, as per the note, he took money from his friends and relatives to invest in this financial instrument, whichever was presented to him.
How did he get sucked into this so easily without cross-checking, all online?
See, this is online. Yes, it is all online, and other details, because today there was no time in the hospital. I was there for 2-3 hours. It was not time to discuss, but whatever has been written, it appears to be a very, very planned, very systemic and intelligent operation by these fraudsters, that a person like Amar Singh Chahal, a retired IPS officer, he remained earlier in Air Force, and then he joined state police. So it appears to be quite a well calculated operation they carried, and I am sure that Patiala police, who has been given this letter note, Have started the investigation, and I will request them that he has written to DG Punjab also that they take this to a logical conclusion, and all the people involved are taken care of. An example is set that nobody else gets into such a trap.
You know, I believe that Chahal has also written in his alleged suicide note that he invested 4 crores of his own money and rest borrowed from relatives and friends. So I'm still a little, it's beyond me as to how a man of his stature has gone into investing money to the tune of 8 crores. Borrowing from relatives and family without actually having to see the person face.
And that usually happens after the third and fourth time where you have invested money. So when you reach out to the wealth manager, there will be another WhatsApp account where they will say there is a virtual assistant. Now this virtual assistant, we say that there is a withdrawal fees which you will have to pay, and that withdrawal fees is significantly higher. So that's another trap that you will end up investing more money, asking from more money from your friends and family. So by that time, you have already invested maybe certain crores depending on your wealth status. And then you will go and ask for more money for a withdrawal. And that's when you realize it is actually a scam. Now, the biggest issue is the reason they take you to Telegram is because on Telegram, you remain anonymous.
Yeah.
You can't find who's running the scam. So the people who are added in group are all scamsters. They are all scamsters who are working together. And these accounts are created specifically for duping high profile individuals. They do profiling of retired professionals, looking at how much money they have, what is the kind of money they have invested in, and appear like a wealth manager. Now, I can tell you where these pockets
appear
are
like a wealth manager. I would
So
believe
these
that
pockets
a
are-
police officer, a man of his stature, would ideally want to ask to meet the person face to face at least once.
See, in the post-COVID world, most of the wealth and managers in top banks don't meet people, I can tell you. All the conversations happen via Zoom calls, team calls, or video calls. Post-COVID, most of the wealth managers don't meet. And a lot of times people say that you will have an AI-based virtual assistant, right? And most of the things are done based on the trust. The social engineering aspect is they will find out where this person holds a bank account. So they will already identify. So in this scenario, they would have already identified that the respective police person holds a bank account in this particular bank and then appear.
So basically,
as a
you're
wealth
saying they
manager
would
of
have
that.
vetted his profile in advance. It's not like as if they stumbled upon his portfolio. They have been tracking him and studying the person that he is, understanding how much he has, trying to hack into his accounts, right?
Yes.
Do you believe that they already knew he has that kind of money?
Yes.
How?
They basically first go out to banks to fish out information who are high net worth individuals, looking at even finding out the returns they file, the assets they hold, and then this is done. So this is targeted campaigns which are run specifically on retired people. This include retired IPS, IS, IFS, even retired generals from the Indian Army or Indian Air Force. So this is targeted, which is done specifically. I have investigated cases where people have lost up to 22 crore rupees. Retired people who have lost 22, 25 crore rupees. So I can tell you this is targeted and this is done by organized cyber criminal gangs. One which operate in India from Mewat, Jamtara, Noon, Bharatpur. These are the belts where they originate from. The moment you try and go to these places, these people have already run away. Then you have mule accounts which are set up in name of fake business accounts. So the money is not transferred to one account but multiple accounts. The trails are even go up to 10 to 12 accounts and the money is moved and transferred from different parts of the country. Now in places.
Tell me one thing, Kanishk, why he was pushed to commit suicide? Thankfully he survived. But why aren't the banks able to help here? Why he says that all the transactions have happened through banks, but I'm not able to access 1 rupee.
Because fake accounts are set up. Now what happens in rural parts of India, people sell away their digital identity and their bank accounts are run by someone else. So in a rural part of Bihar or in Jamtara, people would have given their IDs, Aadhaar IDs, and someone else would be running these accounts. And these are mule accounts. The money is moved from one account to another account at a very fast pace. So it is very difficult from the bank to find out that if the money is still lying in that bank account and it is from one particular bank to another bank, right? And these are done at a very fast pace. So you won't be able to find the trail of the money. And a lot of these accounts are done in a manner that they would appear in form of legitimate companies. They would be trust, not-for-profit accounts. They would be retail companies in the names of a lot of retail businesses which are run. And all of these are fake KYCs which are created. So mule accounts are set up specifically for doing these kinds of scams, right? So ideally, there would be mule accounts up to 10 to 12 mule accounts through which payments are moved. And at the last minute, the payments are moved to crypto. So as soon as the money is moved through a crypto channel, it becomes anonymous. So it's a full trail which is there. So if we have to investigate such scams, first we have to shut down these mule accounts through which money movements happen. You have to stronger the KYC checks which bank have to do. Lot of time people give away with their Aadhaar just for 500, 300, 1000 rupees, and then those are used for doing fake KYC checks and fake bank account setup. So that is one of the biggest issues we find in this country.
You know, but Aadhaar is the most compromised. Everyone asks for an Aadhaar copy of your Aadhaar. Just about everyone. Anywhere. Whatever booking you do, you're expected to produce your Aadhaar. It's the most compromised, but also the most bankable. You have every agency that relies on your Aadhaar. What do you think can be done there? Should there not be better safeguards? Everyone is asking for your Aadhaar and you're supposed to give it so easily. You don't even know if it's being misused.
Your biometrics are changed with Aadhaar. So the person who appears to be doing the biometric would be a different person versus who's holding the Aadhaar. The pictures are changed to appear legitimate. So the last mile of Aadhaar has to be strengthened to ensure the KYC checks which are done is done in the right manner. People today have fake Aadhaar cards which are used specifically for buying fake SIMs for setting up mule accounts. This is one of the biggest issues. So the checks around your KYC needs to be strengthened. At least one with UIDI, Aadhaar, and with the banks who are running some of these scams. That is one of the biggest issues. Otherwise, people create fake identities and then have mule accounts and money is running
right now, and it's become alarmingly common. And pushing an IPS officer to the brink of suicide, it's just tragic. I thought it was important enough to lead with this story today. A final word, IPS Gurinder Singh Dhillon, on why this can't be cracked down. It's your police officer. It's someone who served in the department. He's right now battling for life. He's in distress. Can't the entire police department come together and put your foot down? If there's a way to bring the money back or, you know, crack down on the perpetrators, something that you can do to ensure justice for this man.
Nabila, I totally agree with it. Patiala police and state police has the responsibility now to crack this case and take this case to a logical conclusion, because the fraudsters, the cyber fraud people, they have targeted one of their own colleagues. It's not that somebody else, if it had been there, they would not do it. But here is an example setting where they need to set up, take it to logical conclusion and bring all the criminals to the book so that they are produced before the justice. And at the same time, we do need what Mr. Gaur was saying. These things are very, very important, because we need to sensitize people. We need to sensitize retired people. And then we need to improve our KYC systems, and the last verification through OTP or whatever it is, that needs to be done properly so that more people may not fall. But at the outset, I want to say that in this case, as I am very much upset with it, Patiala police has now full responsibility to go into the details, look for the backward and forwarded linkage, and if there are banks involved and anybody involved, they need to be brought to the book.
All right. You know, I really pray for the family and for Mr. Chahal himself that he gets back to normalcy at the earliest, and at least this pushes our agencies to take more concrete measures and crack down on cybercrime. A quick word, and just my doubt is, are bank officials also involved? Could we really say, Kanishk, that bank insiders could be involved here?
No, bank insiders are not involved. a lot of times bank insiders don't follow proper procedures for doing KYC and verification checks. Just in the name of creating more bank accounts, private banks a lot of times open accounts far quickly without doing the proper KYC checks. That's one of the biggest issues. And that is a RBI non-compliance. So private banking, a lot of times in the name of meeting their sales numbers, just open accounts, and then these accounts are mule accounts which are opened. The other part which plays an extremely important role is this crime would be perpetrated from another state. Now the state police, which will have to work closely with Patiala police, needs to cooperate better, because a lot of time local police knows where the crime is happening from, and if they inform the cyber criminal group, that cyber criminal group will disappear before the Patiala police reaches there. This is one of the biggest issues that I have found. The local police must support and bring down these cyber criminals, because we know the pockets in this country where these cyber criminals operate from. Even from that number, WhatsApp number, you can find the geolocation where this cyber criminal is sitting. But it is ultimately the job of the local police to provide support to Patiala police, which is going to be extremely critical.
How this investigation goes forward, it's an IPS officer, no less than that, who's fallen a prey to cybercrime. Thanks very much, both of you, for joining us. I really appreciate it. We slip into a short break. We're coming back on the other side on a lot of buzz around the income tax department now having access to your emails and social media accounts, and they have all the liberty to scrutinize it. What's really the truth? We'll come back with the fact.
"2026, take notes. Manifesting. For my little Miss Sunshine, tickles and giggles. Also wanna be a biker chick this time. And dear 2026, only love for my people and myself. To manifest my best life, nature's cosmic energy.
Now mine, natural diamond intention pendants.
अपनी सुपर पावर यूज करने का टाइम आ गया है।
आप टेंशन मत लीजिए, IIFL फाइनेंस से झटपट गोल्ड लोन लीजिए और बिजनेस आगे बढ़ाइए।
लाइफ जब भी आगे बढ़ने का मौका दे, अपनी सुपर पावर, अपना गोल्ड यूज करिए और IIFL फाइनेंस से गोल्ड लोन लीजिए।
IIFL फाइनेंस करता है सीधी बात।
झूलता उछलता है, दौड़ता कभी कभी दौड़ कराता है, आगे आगे बढ़ता है इंडिया, अमूल दूध पीता है इंडिया। चमकी सूरज किरणें छत पर, सोलर सिस्टम आया घर घर, बिजली पानी की कमी नहीं, उन्नत है अब इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, इन्वेस्टमेंट अपार है, उद्योग है, व्यापार है, हर सपना अब साकार है, ये भजन लाल सरकार है। नव उत्थान, नई पहचान, बढ़ता राजस्थान, हमारा राजस्थान।
Light, camera, and action. Kick back, relax, grab your favorite snack because News 9 is here with your weekend dose of entertainment. It's time to take a deeper dive into the buzzworthy happenings of the entertainment world. From celebrity gossips to exclusive conversations, from nostalgic moments to News 9's pick of the week, don't worry, we've got you covered here. And I hope you've grabbed your popcorn by now because News 9's page 3 is here to serve you everything that we call entertainment. So do stay tuned every Saturday and Sunday, 2:30 p.m.
Welcome back. Well, a claim is doing the rounds on social media that sparked panic among taxpayers. The claim says that from April 1st, 2026, the Income Tax Department will get sweeping powers to access your emails, your social media accounts, cloud storage and digital platforms. The government has now stepped in to clarify and call this claim as misleading. The PIB fact check says there is no blanket powers given to tax authorities to monitor or access your private digital accounts of any citizen for that matter. So how did this confusion even erupt? The confusion is around Section 247 of the Income Tax Act 2025. According to the government, this section applies only during authorized search and survey operations, not for regular taxpayers. This means that your emails or social media cannot be accessed routinely. It's not as if the income tax suspects that there is some foul play from your end and decides to scrutinize your accounts. Doesn't happen like that. They need to have proper authorization from the tax agency and proof to suggest why they suspect there's tax evasion. Well, there's no mass surveillance, that's for sure. The government clarifies no mass surveillance at all. There is no automatic digital monitoring either. Now, these powers come into play only when there is credible evidence of serious tax evasion, and that of a large scale. Something that's tax evasion that's done on large scale is when authorization is given to probe social media accounts as well. Now, what's not and who's not affected here? Salaried employees are not affected. Law-abiding taxpayers, of course, need not worry. Routine scrutiny or assessments not happening. Now, who is affected though? Cases involving black money, large-scale tax evasion, authorized search and seizure operations. Only with regards to such big cases is an authorization given to scan social media accounts and emails. The government has also clarified that these powers are not new at all. It's been there since 1961 under the Income Tax Act of 1961. Since then, that has been the norm to scrutinize social platforms and emails. Officers could seize documents and evidence. The new law simply recognizes that evidence today can also be digital. It's not just hard evidence like your hard cash or jewelry, but also evidence could be verified or corroborated through your digital platforms. So there's no provision that allows the Income Tax Department to freely access your email, social media or digital platforms from 1st April 2026. That's a clarification that the government has given. Any digital access is limited, conditional and legally bound, applies only in serious tax evasion cases, not to ordinary citizens. We have with us joining us Krishan Malhotra, who's a tax expert. We also have Advocate Pawan Dugal, cyber law expert, and also Kanish Gaur, who's a cyber expert as well. Thanks very much, all of you. Let me bring in Krishan Malhotra on this. As a tax expert, sir, what's your take on this? There was a lot of buzz around the government having sweeping powers. Basically, income tax now, if they have any suspicion, can scrutinize your social accounts. Government says wrong and not a new law, has always been there. We're just recognizing the fact that evidence can go beyond hard evidence. It can get it. There is digital evidence. Now we're in a digital world. Digital evidence is important to be scrutinized, and only with regards to large scale tax evasion.
So I think you have very rightly explained. I would just like to tell you a little bit of history. Initially, there used to be a section 132. Whenever the search and seizure used to take place, they were giving the authorities to the tax tax authorities to look at your books of accounts, to get as much data by visiting your place, business place, or your houses. And there was a word, in case if the documents are placed in an electronic device, then they can also access the electronic device. So there was always a confusion in terms of whether WhatsApp, whether the cloud servers, so whether your personal emails can be accessed. The department was always of this view that since the word is electronic device, we can access everything, whereas it was only restricted to IT, and it was not explained, neither it was defined. In the new bill, which will now become effective from 1st April 2026, they have clarified and they have made the changes, not changes, they have included 3 words. They are saying they can have an access, the authorities can have access to all the documents, including a virtual digital space. So these 3 words, virtual digital place, has already been incorporated in the law. And in order to avoid any confusion, by section 261, they defined what do they mean by virtual digital space, where they have specified and they have given the instances to say it includes emails, It includes servers, social, the media account, any website with the details where the ownership of where the people are holding their, assets, online investments, digital application platforms, remote or cloud servers. So now everything is defined in a way. Initially, there was a confusion. So now, to say that there was a law initially, there was only the word electronic device which was not explained, and I don't think that includes all this. But now, by using the word virtual digital space, I think they have defined, by defining also, they can certainly have an access whenever they do search and seizure. So that is what change which they have brought in the new law to avoid any doubts in the minds of the people.
Okay, let me bring in Kanishk. Kanishk, do you have questions?
See, if you look at when you apply for US visa, the US Department of Homeland Security was already doing social media checks, and for which people were told to make their social media accounts public. Now, if we have got businessmen who take vacations outside this country and file a very low tax return, it is the duty of the income tax department to verify their social media handles to see whether these people are actually depositing the correct tax or not. So, social media account verification, I believe, is a good step because it will allow the income tax department to validate whether people are being honest and truthful while filing their income tax returns, because people travel abundantly, but when it comes to paying tax to the government, there is mass level of falsehood which is run across the country. So I believe it's a great step by the government. It should have happened much earlier.
What I think is the fear. What is the fear here? What the fear here is that data could be misused for any other reason. If you have, it depends on the government of the day. The information that they could gather through scanning through your emails or your social platforms could be misused against you. Even if you are a law-abiding citizen, this kind of surveillance is not really welcome if it is a blanket ruling. Though the government now clarifies it's only to do with large-scale tax evasion. But with the way you're defining it, you're saying if a businessman is traveling and he's now you have so many billionaires, millionaires in India. How do you know what is large scale, what is small scale? Can I also bring in Mr. Pawan Dugal on this? Mr. Pawan Dugal, your take on that. How do you define a large scale tax evasion or a small tax evasion? What is small, what is large? The government says only large scale tax evasion. Will there be such kind of surveillance?
Clearly, when law is drafted in manners which can allow for multiple interpretations, then the interpretation that's best going to suit the statutory authorities is what's going to be taken. So in a scenario like this, I'm of the firm opinion that the tax agencies will have the power to go ahead and scan your social media if the power is existing. So first and foremost, the constitutionality of that particular power will have to be tested. Maybe some litigation or public interest litigation goes to the Supreme Court in this regard. But more significantly, I believe that today, when almost everything is happening in the electronic ecosystem, people also need to be careful that whatever digital footprints they are leaving behind will be used by state authorities and agencies for the purposes of going ahead and either prosecuting them or for the purposes of extracting the relevant tax. So here we find so many of these influencers and social media personalities, somebody spending 20 lakhs a month, somebody talking about a 34 lakh a wedding banquet bill and stuff like that. If you're going to flaunt your so-called lifestyle of luxurious nature onto the internet, then I think you need to be careful that the agencies can come behind you. And these are statutory provisions. So till such time these provisions are not going to be set aside by a court of law, they will continue to be applicable. Yes, they may not particularly be seen as surveillance, but it does give a huge amount of flexible power to the government to ask for a lot of your social media details. From whom? from the social media.
And the government says this is not a new law. It's just basically, it's the same law of 1961. At this point, there's only, they've highlighted the requirement of digital scanning. That's about it. It's the same thing, different word.
The only thing is the different world changes the complete paradigm.
Yeah.
When you had those powers in the actual world, you had limited kind of access because people were not part of the Great Indian Vomiting Revolution. People were not vomiting data on the social media or on the internet. So therefore, the government had limited powers of search and trying to confiscate things. Right now, when the two revolutions are by and large prevailing all over India, whether it's the Great Indian Data Vomiting Revolution, where Indians are vomiting data about their personal, professional, social lives online, or whether it's the Great Indian Data Recording Revolution, where Indians are recording everything that they are able to be finding of relevance and putting it on their devices, only to not realize who will have access to that later. So this is now a very fertile kind of a sea that's come up, and these new legal provisions are nothing but a big fishing net that's sought to be put into these waters and try for the government to cull out as much information as possible. And whatever information is being given about you by social media companies to the government will be taken along with the relevant certification under the Bharatiya Saksha Adhiniyam, and that being so, it will be admissible evidence. And once it's admissible evidence, you will have tough time trying to defend yourself. More significantly now, with the use of AI coming in, another aspect could be that with the use of AI by the taxation authorities, it could lead to an AI surveillance by the tax agencies who could be using AI for the purposes of constant monitoring your social media accounts for the purposes of finding, are you violating the law or are you spending far more than what your known sources of income are going to be? So very interesting times, but people need to wake up. Of course, legal issues need to be addressed.
A small piece of advice. People need to wake up. When you say wake up, why would you say wake up?
Well, I'm saying wake up from their deep slumber. The wake up from the presumption that nothing that they are seeing online is going to be used against them. Wake up from the fact that the government is here to collect as much information about you and to use that for the purposes of taxing you, for the purposes of prosecuting you, and for the purposes of putting you in a tight corner. So better well be prepared and try to expose minimal. The time has come where
I do have a question though. Does the department need judicial approval, prior approval to scan your platforms? Will we know that they are scanning our platforms, or is it going to happen on without our knowledge? Will platforms like Meta comply? That's also a factor to consider.
Yeah, they don't have any choices. They are intermediaries under the Information Technology Act 2000. They're duty bound under the IT Act and the IT Rules 2021 to comply with the law of the land, to comply with the dictates of governmental agencies. And they will do so because if they don't do so, they lose their statutory exemption from legal liability, which is a much bigger exposure that they would not want to have. Because it's primarily because of the statutory exemption to legal liability given to them under Section 79 of the IT Act that they have been able to do all these activities in India. And I think they would not err on the side of caution. They will actually be very, very careful. Any kind of a mandate coming in, they will constantly comply with the same because they want their statutory exemption from legal liability to be updated and not be snatched away from them, and thereby exposing them to both civil and criminal consequences.
When we speak of privacy violation, do citizens also have equal right and enough to fight legally if they feel their privacy is violated?
Surely, I think the citizens have enough kind of teeth with them. They can actually go ahead and challenge such kind of a power under the writ jurisdiction of the High Courts under Article 226 of the Constitution, or before the Supreme Court under Article 32 of the Constitution. Because at the end of the day, every Indian now has a fundamental right to privacy. And that's an integral part of the fundamental right to life. Why? Because 9-judge bench of the Supreme Court, in their own unanimous voice, have amply declared, in the case of Justice Puttaswamy versus Union of India, that Indians have a fundamental right to privacy. And if this kind of an exercise is going to take place, this kind of potential provisions would be impacting their privacy. In which case, then the court will look at the constitutionality of such a provision and whether that such a provision is based on proportionality or is it based on something else? And once the courts decide, they'll decide.
A final word, Krishan Malhotra, your final take on this. As much as we've heard Pawan Dugal and Kanishk, your take on this as a tax expert, what would be your tip to law-abiding citizens need not fear, but at the end of it, it is a privacy concern?
No, certainly I do agree with you that there's going to be impacting it is going to be impacting the privacy. But only thing what we have requested, even there is a request which is also being filed with the government, with the tax authorities, that they because the law lacks not reporting clear procedure safeguards. So in case if they will come out with some guidelines that how it can be used, under which circumstances, and then it would, because anything which goes to the tax authorities, the way our systems are, nothing remains, restricted to them, and it becomes a public news. So now there should be some guidelines which should be issued, some safeguards should be provided, and some law, some rules should be brought in, so that people know that.
Because the clarification came in by the government today saying it's only for large-scale tax evasion. But there's no definition of what's large scale. 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs, what's large? Or larger? So we're going to wait for that.
Wherever the search and seizure take place, it's always probably at a very big places. And those who are doing, very big businesses. And when they have a data, the authorities have a data enough to justify that there has been an evasion. But you're right, there is no definition for that. But I think some safeguard rules should be brought in so that people should have.
We're hoping for that. Yeah.
We can go for that, yes.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate you. That's all I have time for. Krishan Malhotra, Pawan Dugal and Kanish Gaur. Thank you.
Thank you.
A quick break. We'll be right back with all our top stories on Day Tonight. Stay with us.
मेरी बेटी के अभी से बाल झड़ रहे हैं, मैं क्या करूं?
2 स्पून ही काफी है। लायन डेट सिरप, इसमें आयरन, फाइबर्स, विटामिन्स और किसी भी बीमारी से लड़ने की ताकत बहुत ज्यादा है। आयरन यानी बाल झड़ने से रोकथाम। रोजाना 2 स्पून लायन डेट सिरप हल्के गर्म दूध में भी मिलाकर पी सकते हैं। लायन डेट सिरप रोजाना 2 स्पून।
सामने नया सुपरमार्केट खुलने वाला है, क्या करूं कि पुराने कस्टमर भी रहें और नए भी आ जाएं?
देखो, आप दुकान के बाहर एक चाय कॉर्नर लगा सकते हो। चाय पीते पीते पुराने कस्टमर बातचीत करेंगे, उन्हें देखकर नए कस्टमर भी आएंगे और एक्स्ट्रा कमाई भी होगी। इसके अलावा आपके बिल्स देख के समझ लेते हैं कि कौन सा सामान कितना बिका है।
पढ़ता है, खेलता है, झूलता उछलता है, दौड़ता कभी कभी दौड़ कर आता है, आगे आगे बढ़ता है इंडिया, अमूल दूध पीता है इंडिया।
Welcome back. Let's start with our top story on Day Tonight. Aravalli Hills and protests erupting on protecting the Aravalli Hills. In fact, protests have begun from Gurugram, Udaipur to parts of Rajasthan, Haryana. Residents, farmers, environmental activists are all on the streets protesting, worried that India's old mountain range, oldest, the Aravalli mountain range, is currently being stripped of its protection. So, what's really triggered the anger here is a recent order that was backed by the Supreme Court of India, which accepted a new uniform definition of what counts as the Aravalli Hill. Under this definition, the new definition, only hills that rise 100 meters or more above the surrounding land will be officially recognized as Aravalli. Mining already cleared under existing permissions can continue, and in limited cases, even sensitive areas now may be opened up for mining of strategic or atomic minerals. Until a long-term mining plan is ready, no new leases will be given. Environmentalists say that this change in definition here could mean that over 90% of Aravalli Hills now may lose legal protection because many parts of this ancient range are low-lying hills, forested ridges and rocky outcrops. In fact, they fear more mining and construction, broken wildlife corridors, rising dust and heat, falling groundwater. In fact, groundwater levels are already decreasing. This could lead to even worse conditions and worsening air quality, especially for the Delhi-NCR region, is what they fear. And they're out on the streets now protesting that this definition be withdrawn, the new definition be withdrawn. The government, however, has pushed back. The Environment Ministry says that it is wrong to claim that areas below 100 meters are now going to be given to mining and they lose protection. That's not the case. Our government argues that the new definition only brings uniformity across states, prevents misuse of vague boundaries and keeps all critical slopes, forests and connecting habitats protected under existing laws. Aravalli does matter a lot. The range is around 2 billion years old, among the oldest on the earth. It stretches nearly 670 kilometers from Delhi to Gujarat. It acts as a natural wall against the Thar Desert, helps recharge groundwater, cools the region and supports wildlife corridors. If the Aravallis weaken, deserts will move closer, cities will heat up and water becomes scarce. Now, in Kerala, there's been a mob lynching case that's shocked us. Mistrust, fear and hate have turned deadly, killing an innocent man in Kerala in a chilling case of mob violence from Kerala's Palakkad. 31-year-old Dalit migrant labourer was beaten to death after being wrongly suspected of theft and falsely believed to be a Bangladeshi national. Ram Narayan Baghel from Chhattisgarh had arrived in Palakkad, Kerala on December 13th in search of work. He was employed as a daily wage labourer at the construction site and lived in extreme poverty. He is now survived by his wife and his 2 sons, 8 and 9 years old. Police say the attack took place at Attapalam East in Valayar, where a group of local residents allegedly assaulted him with sticks, thinking that he had stolen something. Again, that theft has also not been proven. But then eventually they went on to believe he's a Bangladeshi national and literally lynched him to death. He was rushed to Palakkad District Hospital. Before dying, he allegedly told the doctors there that the mob suspected him of stealing something which he had not. Very heartbreaking. The post-mortem confirms death due to excessive bleeding from severe blunt force injuries. That's the man on our screens there. Videos were being taken of him being harassed. Kerala police have now arrested 5 people. The Kerala government has now also given 10 lakhs as compensation to the family. Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan has termed the incident as unacceptable, announced a special investigative team to probe into this case. Congress has blamed the state government of Kerala for failing to stop fear-fueled rumours that's now turned deadly.
This is basically one person who is belonging to Chhattisgarh. He has been assaulted by some group of persons, and with respect to that, one murder case has been registered and 5 persons have been arrested. 5 of the main accused have been arrested.
All right, visuals coming in from a popular Shimla hospital has left us aghast. We are not sure what really triggered this confrontation, but what we see here is deeply disturbing. A doctor allegedly thrashing a patient inside a government hospital. The incident is from Indira Gandhi Medical College in Shimla. The patient from Kuppi division of Shimla district had approached the hospital complaining of breathing difficulties. According to his complaint, the doctor spoke to him in an offensive and humiliating manner. The visuals show the argument spiraling out of control with no immediate intervention visible. Attendants there appear to make limited attempts to restrain the patient as well, while the doctor is also seen continuing the confrontation. The patient too is seen responding aggressively. Now remember, we are not too sure what's triggered this. The patient says that he was trying to talk to the doctor. Doctor was rude to him. Now who threw the first punch or the first kick? Investigation will tell us. But here the doctor not sparing the patient, despite having him, trying to take treatment there. He comes in and thrashes the patient, punches him on his face. Those are the visuals there. At this stage, the exact trigger is unknown, but of course the family of the patient raising protests and slogans outside the hospital demanding suspension of this doctor. Hospital Medical Superintendent Rahul Rao has also said that action is initiated now against the doctor, and confirmed that patient has also filed an FIR against the doctor, who is a pulmonary medicine specialist. Now, reacting strongly, Himachal Health Minister Dhaniram Sandhil has called this incident unacceptable, and we're looking at the opposition also terming this unfortunate, and Chief Minister ordering a probe into this case. All right, a quick look. A rare and disturbing instance in New Zealand that's now come to fore. Sikh religious procession in New Zealand was forced to halt midway. A group calling themselves Patriots, basically far-right groups in New Zealand, came prepared to stop a Sikh parade in South Auckland, leading to a tense confrontation on a public road. The incident took place on Great South Road, where police were forced to step in and physically separate the protesters from Sikh procession to prevent any escalation. Protesters were linked to political leader Brian Tamaki and his organization Destiny Church and Christian fundamentalist religious groups. They, in fact, displayed the haka. I'm going to play that out for you. Listen in. The Patriots there performing the haka, directly confronting the Sikh procession as it moved along the streets. The group unfurled banners also that read, New Zealand, this is New Zealand, it's not India. So it seems like the Patriots there came prepared to stop the Sikhs on their tracks. And well, the protesters performing the haka display against the Sikhs there clearly speaks for a lot. Officers remained stationed in the area until the procession concluded, with authorities saying that their presence was necessary to ensure the Sikh community felt safe. Incident has triggered concern beyond New Zealand. The Shiromani Gurdwara Parbandhak Committee has flagged this incident as deeply troubling. Chief Minister of Punjab, Bhagwant Mann, has urged India's central government now to intervene and take up the matter with New Zealand ambassador to India. Thanks very much for tuning in. Have a great night.
सन डायरेक्ट लेकर आया है एक जबरदस्त नया टीवी पैक। यहाँ असली 2 साल का निवेश है, 100+ चैनल्स, HD क्वालिटी बॉक्स और रिचार्ज की टेंशन 2 साल के लिए खत्म। तो अभी लगवाइए सन डायरेक्ट, यहाँ खर्चा नहीं, 2 साल का असली निवेश।
सन डायरेक्ट सब्सक्रिप्शन पाने के लिए अपने नजदीकी रिटेलर से जल्द ही संपर्क करें और घर पर सन टनाटन।
पढ़ता है, खेलता है, झूलता उछलता है, दौड़ता कभी कभी दौड़ कराता है, आगे आगे बढ़ता है इंडिया, अमूल दूध पीता है इंडिया।
ये बेस्ट है सर।
हमेशा वाला क्यों नहीं? मिश्रा जी, आपके लिए फूलों की बरसात, बिरला ओपस एश्योरेंस देने के लिए। मतलब प्रोडक्ट वारंटी ये एक्स्ट्रा है। 1 साल में पेंट को कुछ भी हुआ तो पेंटिंग वापस करके देंगे। वापस करके देंगे? वो भी फ्री। पेंटिंग में पहली बार बिरला ओपस एश्योरेंस। रजिस्टर करो birlaopus.com पर।
Okay, 2026, take notes. Manifesting. More bubbles, less troubles. For my little Miss Sunshine, tickles and giggles. Also wanna be a biker chick this time. Vroom, vroom. Allah, merci beaucoup. And dear 2026, only love for my people and myself. To manifest my best life, nature's cosmic energy. Now mine, natural diamond.